Hi, guys. Welcome back. Welcome to another lovely weekly reading. We're going to be taking a look at the dates of Monday, November 10th to Sunday, November 16th. And today it is November 11th. My bad, guys, at 12:31 p.m. PDT, or excuse me, PST. And so let's see what energies are wanting to make themselves known for us, known to us and for us, I guess. And if you haven't had a chance to check out the November monthly reading, then please do go ahead and do so. Now, guys, I understand that some of you, especially those of you who, well, I guess it really just depends on what your natal placements are and such, but there are some of you who may be really experiencing a lot of hardship at this time, and that hardship may manifest itself in different ways. For some of you, I'm feeling it may be some type of mental discombobulation. Love that word. Don't love the feeling, but mental discombobulation. I see a lot of confusion. I do want to let you guys know that if you're having some confusion in particular, and I know you may think, oh, isn't that mental discombobulation? But there's a slight difference in the way that I'm experiencing it here. But for those of you who would say, oh, yeah, confusion, I do want to let you know that part of that confusion is that there's a lot of shifting going on energetically. And for whatever reason, it's happening so quickly, it's happening so much that and for some reason, you are able to pick up on it or sense it on some level. And you're experiencing that in your physical reality as a feeling of confusion. Now, to be more specific about what that feels like, it could be something as simply as like, oh, I want to order these groceries. I go to the supermarket to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You arrive at the supermarket only to realize as you're picking up A, B, C, D, E, F, G that you actually didn't really need them at all. And then maybe you stop and wonder, well, why did I even feel, what about this at the time made me feel so strongly that number one, I needed it, number two, was strong enough for me to get in my car and come here. And now here it's no longer a priority. So you may feel that some priorities are shifting, or senses of urgency, things that were once seemingly urgent are no longer urgent as well, especially with respect to the urgency situation, especially if it has to do with somebody else. For somebody here, it's your child. What was seeming like something that was urgent for you to address with them is no longer urgent. Sorry, I had to laugh because I'm getting messages there as well. But anyway, yeah, while I was shuffling these two cards, this one popped up, and then this one, wow, I love it. Oh, wow, okay. Surrender to inner peace and surrender worry. We are in the midst of November, right? We are firmly in Scorpio season, and dear God, we will be at some point segueing into Sagittarius season. Now, if you watched, either it was the November reading or the weekly reading from last week, but one of them, if not both of them, talked about, the energies that are going on right now, namely scorpionic energies, Mercury retrograde, which is bringing a lot of old structures or a lot of old beliefs, things that were latent and dormant, so to speak, in our energy field back up for reflection. And we talked about how, because of that, because of those, let's say, reestablishment of focus, of thoughts and things, of course, thoughts and things, yeah, thoughts become things, right? You're going to have experiences in the physical with those thoughts, right? That's what the earth's plane is. That is what the earth's plane is for, by the way. It's for us to literally walk around within our own mind. We are only ever experiencing our own thoughts and the thoughts of the collective, meaning other beings, which, from a higher perspective, there's only one being, and that is all of us. But from this perspective, here in this third dimensional plane, we will observe many of us. But anyway, the Earth's plane is just literally a physical plane of existence where we can literally interact with our own beliefs. Now, if that's not high tech, I don't know what is, right? That's quite an ability. So Mercury retrograde, scorpionic energies, which automatically are all about deep diving, all about deep emotions, deep, deep, deep. And I'm not talking about surface level, like, oh, this pretty lake. No, I'm talking about the depths of the ocean. Because if you're thinking underworld, we're talking underworld. Okay. So those things coming up from the basement, right? So you're feeling it, things are coming back into being. And again, be mindful not to judge, because you're only ever interacting with a vibration of your own that you may be so far from owning that it actually literally appears to you in the form of another person. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay. And the third thing that we were not too long ago experiencing was the super full moon. I believe it was in Taurus. Okay. So, long story short, full moon, retrograde, and scorpionic energies. If we're not getting tumped up, slapped from left to right, closed fist, tripped over, all sorts of stuff, then what are we doing, right? This is this time. Uranus is doing a thing out there, has been doing a thing out there recently, as well as Pluto, right? So more Aquarian shock and scorpionic blowing ups going on. So all that being said, might I suggest some inner peace? Now, speaking of inner peace, before someone wants to slap me and say, inner peace, where? Where, I ask? Right here, right? The same place that you are experiencing the tumult from, which is yourself, is the very same place that you will receive your peace from, which is yourself. Now, here's the thing, you can't, these kinds of energies are things that you have to work. Hear me out, hear me out. You have to work through in order to get to the peace part. So, in other words, you must look at it, you must confront it, you must reflect upon it. Any of those things missing is going to be tantamount to bypass. Oh, and we're not out here about the spiritual bypassing, right? We're doing our best. Now, the reason why, hear me out on this, the reason why we take lifetimes to go through things, the reason why we have cycles and we have to revisit and revisit and revisit is not because the powers that be, source, God, your higher self, whatever you would like to say, it's not because they're denying you the option and the ability to just get it done. Because remember, when you understand God and you understand yourself, you will know the truth, which you cannot see here. You can't, no matter how much lip service we're giving it, don't even try to think about it, right? You can't comprehend it, just like nobody on earth, even mothers, can even equate what true unconditional love is. Okay, you just can't. It's not in our DNA at this level of the field. But the reality is that the Creator created us, created you, and as a creation of the Creator, you have been given, and here's the word, everything. And you have been denied, and here's the other word, nothing, right? How can you deny what a sovereign being that was created with free will and love and access to everything in the image and likeness of the Creator itself? The only difference being that you did not create yourself. You have everything that the Creator has because you are of the Creator's likeness, except you didn't create yourself. That's why we say, or that's why it's made it into our language, that I and my Father are one, I and my Creator are one, but my Father is greater than I, my Creator is greater than I, because literally speaking, the expansiveness of the Creator, which encompasses all that is larger than you, especially now in this little tiny little pea pod that we call a human being personality, right? And so we have to respect those levels of expansion. Now, the only reason why you don't have access, you can do it anytime you want to, sovereign being, but the only reason why you're not doing it for yourself, or let's say using the language down here, you're not feeling able to do it, is a very simple one indeed. And that simple one is that you can't handle it. Sorry. Tom, where are you? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth, right? You heard Jack. Jack said it. You can't handle the truth. God is the truth. It's everything, right? We don't have it within our capacity to see reality at this level of being. It would blow us apart because it's energy, it's omniscience, it's everything. And at once, no, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Some of us can barely handle a conversation with someone with a mean tone. How are you going to handle the sheer force of energy? C'est impossible, right? And so we also understand this in a great analogy, in the sense that, yeah, you've got a lot, not just you, but when I say you, I mean all of us, including me, right? Everything that comes through me is for me. It's got to be for me first. Otherwise, I can't give it, right? Um, but we are all filled with beliefs, with memories, with impressions, with all this stuff from other lifetimes. Even from this lifetime, we can't remember it all. We can't call upon it all. And on top of that, when viewed from a higher perspective, we're choosing not to, right? The long story short, we understand a great analogy is that you can't just roll into your friendly local therapist's office and just start delving deeply into your traumas. Why? Because psychologically speaking, just even looking at the psychology, you can't handle it. That's understandable. So imagine all the stuff from other lifetimes when you played other roles, a lot of them contradictory to the one that you're playing in this lifetime, but other roles, especially if you view it from the perspective of this personality that you're in, you look at some of the personalities you've been in and the actions you've taken in other lifetimes, you would self-condemn so hard that you would flay yourself, right? You probably couldn't even look at it, look at the actions. And so, long story short, we are working our way through our existence, so to speak. We're working to allow ourselves to forgive ourselves enough, to release, to let ourselves off the hook enough, to show compassion enough to ourselves, to empathize enough to ourselves, towards ourselves, to be able to see the truth. Now, when you for reals get to a certain level of evolution in your consciousness, spiritual maturity, you start to realize, oh, not only am I not even like feeling a way about this anymore, but I'm starting to realize that I was mistaken in believing what I thought I had done, what I thought I had seen, experienced, and acted upon other people, and the things that they had enacted upon me, that those were real and that that ever happened. Maybe the best way to think about it is when we see in movies and like the main character, of course I can't think of a movie right now, but I know I've seen this before. The main character is so deep in whatever, and then there's this major twist. Oh, thank you guys, thank you, they just gave me one. Oh, thank you, 6 cents. Remember in the end, sorry, excuse me, if you haven't seen this movie yet, you need to pause here and go see it because spoiler alert, right? In 3 2 1, in the end, Bruce Willis out here thinking he was doing anything this whole movie, trying to get through to this young boy and to help him with his ghosts, which is it even happening, who knows. In the end, what does the kid say on some there is no spoon kind of timing? The kid says, hey, long story short, you're a ghost. And we have this full reveal. And what does the kid say in the whole like overlay of the audio? Go see what they want to see. Remember all, and then they show Bruce Willis trying to open the door and seeing it locked all the time. But in that moment, all of a sudden, when he's having this major reveal for himself, he's having this major reveal. He realizes the door that to the closet was never locked. He wasn't being locked out of his house. His wife wasn't cheating on him. He wasn't being ignored. No, now his vision is clear because whatever was going on in his mind that was working itself out had unraveled enough, detangled enough for him to see the truth. And the truth was that it was nothing was being done to him. There was he just couldn't open the door. Number one, he's a ghost. Okay. The frequency is different. So, and the second thing is that there was a table that was in front. He didn't see the table all that time. He was so stuck in his own version of reality, his own version of the world, which, as we know, for ghosts, God bless their their little hearts. I almost said bony hearts. I was like, wait, what bones? Their world stops. Their time stops, and so they're not able to see the current, okay, the current moment. So his wife was grieving his death all this time, and he couldn't see it because he was in his own world. This is a great analogy for our reality. Spirits out here saying, hey guys, you guys are moving mad. From our level of perspective, you think you're many. You're exhibiting insanity. You're talking to yourself. You're beating up on yourself. You're divorcing yourself. You're marrying yourself. You're giving birth to yourself. You're this and that. You're hating yourself. You're all this stuff. It's insanity from a higher perspective. And that is actually the word that's used in A Course in Miracles, which I highly recommend for anyone trying to, just correct their perceptions here. And but while we're in it, we're experiencing a reality that even seems real. We can't open the closet door, for example, but we are making stories up about it because we can't see what's happening. And so when spirit is out here telling us things and helping us to see that you're the one who's dreaming all these nightmares because you have stuff in your cache, CACHE, in your mind space, your mindset, and your spiritual mind, whatever you want to call it. Your subconscious is one of the terms we use down here, right? And then, of course, people with different discourses within the field of psychology will use that term differently versus people in the field of religion, people in the field of Gnosticism, all that. Everybody's trying to talk about this mindset. Long story short, if you're either in reality and knowing and omniscience and blah, 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 spirit, or you are here in this hyper, no, not hyper reality, in this hypothetical reality that is not real. It's just a reflection. And that's why we say that you will experience according to your own beliefs. Down here in this physical space, you are merely interacting with some beliefs that you hold, but you experience those beliefs not as cartoon figures, because we're not in a toon world, not as whatever else, because we're not in that world, but it as physicality, because we're in a plane that which is just a thought. Earth is just some concept projected from some being's mind, right? You're experiencing your beliefs here in the physical. Now, when we slow down and we take the time to start observing, being mindful and testing, doing A/B testing with the thought we have, the feeling we have, and the beliefs we're noticing, and then seeing how it reverberates in the world outside of us in some way, whether it's ailments, whether it's relationships, whether it's a job, or whatever, when you really stop to observe these things, you cannot deny that the world you live in is not physical. And because I did that, it's physical and logical and linear and all of that as you think. The world is a production of, say it with me, consciousness. And what do we know about the Hermetic law? First Hermetic law, everything is mind. But if you're out here on that moving in materiality and thinking and looking for evidence in the material to confirm what you observe to be material, you're never going to get it, because that's not reality. That's you playing around in unreality. So the point is, we want to move from that material first mindset and acknowledge what we are. You're not a body, you're not physical, you're not material, you're mind, your spirit, right? And when you identify with what you truly are, spirit, you align with, you start to embody, you take on the frequencies of what you are. So spirit is unlimited. That's when you choose. This is the only thing you can do at this level of consciousness in this physical plane. This is how you navigate. You navigate by way of your choices, but you will always choose in alignment with what you believe. You may not notice that now, but just trust your girl. We're out here, right? So when you start to identify not with the I'm this and the I'm that, and my social society says I'm this and I'm blah, 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 all of that is just wasting your lifetimes. When you realize what you are spirit, having an embodied experience of what? Your own belief system, your own thoughts. Someone somewhere in some higher plane said, hey, let's do a thing. Let's play around. We've got eternity. Let's try this. Like, whoa, we'll call it, Earth. We'll call it the universe. We'll call it whatever. And on this little projected ball, right? We're going to have this and that and that and that. And then we'll people it. And these are the bodies we'll use. And before long, here you are. And then here's the kicker, we'll make everyone forget. And let's see what we can do, right? Hold on 1 second, guys. Quick pause. Okay, pause for a quick second. Yeah, so let's see what we can do. By the way, this entire video is going to be available on YouTube. So if you'd like to watch it and you're not watching on YouTube, then head on over. All right. Okay. So yeah. So while we're down here, in this false reality, some discourses will call it the dream, some Places will even refer to it as hell. People call it all sorts of stuff. Because I mean, hey, imagine if you just, we know some of our friends and even we know some of ourselves in our deepest, darkest moments. Like, would you want to be living in that person's world, in that person's mind, all sorts of stuff? So um, so anyway, here we are. Here we are. And the whole point is you won't remember your creator, you won't remember God, you won't remember your divinity. Mastery is the ability to do as your divine self would do, right? Whether or not you remember your divinity. And that's what we all aspire to do at some point. We need that breakthrough. We need it, boys, right? So yeah, you're down here hoping your best, working through your kinks, having experiences with other people, some of which you have planned, curricularly speaking, karmically speaking, so that you can chisel away at whatever the obstructive beliefs are that you've been moving with for lifetimes. It's a form of healing. Earth could be a form of healing. That's the whole point, in a sense, if you're able to capitalize on that point. But when we're down here, it's so stressful, it's so painful, it seems so unjust. All sorts of stuff happens simply because we're not omniscient down here. We can't see everything. We're just doing our best. That's why, what do they say? If God were to say one thing, if I give you one thing before you go down there, and hopefully that you'll remember, it's do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Because guess what? It is you. There is only one. We're just experiencing many down here. So best believe that, this isn't the place to be judging. It really, really isn't, because you really, really only hurt yourself. And the more spiritually evolved you get, and when I talk about evolved, I mean spiritual maturity. It means literally your consciousness expands to become more and more and more and more able to perceive of what is actually here than what is just in front of you. We already know that the more information you have, the better of a chance you have to make informed decisions. And until you know everything, you cannot say that you know anything. So judgment should be off the table completely. It moves from judging, because judgment is not something we're capable of doing at this level, down to, I'm going to do my best. But since you're doing your best, that means you don't have the full story. So really try not to hurt other people. Try to be kind, try to be compassionate, try to have an empathetic ear, try to work on your heart chakra, try to love yourself, try to just try. Because it's, this is the time we have here, right? And so you see, inner peace, and I hate to say it, and when I say I hate to say it, I really mean I hate to say it, because I'm delivering the messages, but think of all your anger moments that you're feeling, probably listening to this. I'm angrily feeling it and railing at my guides whenever they are telling me this. But like they always say, like we say, the peace comes from you. God's not out here blocking you. You have been given everything, and you've been denied nothing. So if you're experiencing hardship in your life, if even walking down the street and someone frowns at you, do not equate that with God at the Most High. It's not a vibration that can even be around at that high of a level. Look at how some of you, if you start eating healthily and maybe you quit smoking and you start working out or something, you're making these positive changes in your life. Some of you can't even hold on to your toxic best friend or toxic boyfriend, or even stand to be in the same room with certain coworkers anymore. Why? Because the vibration is shifted and their vibration is no longer in alignment with yours. Now imagine the Most High of all perfection up there. That level, which we'll just say is God, that is such clear sight, such clear vision, that at that level of experience, whatever you think you're going on and experiencing down here, it doesn't exist, because it's not able to exist on all levels, including at that higher level. So when we say that this is just a dream, this is just a false reality, it's false perception, this is just an earth school, this is just your mind, this is just you dreaming, all that stuff is just to let you know that reality is perfection, it's providence, it's love, it's the highest vibration, it's unconditionality, it's timelessness, it's eternity, it's divine abundance, it's omniscience, it's all that stuff. So please do not keep thinking that you having $0 in your bank account, that somebody having shot you and now you're living a certain life and all sorts of all the stuff, or even you doing certain things. This has nothing to do with God at all. And any religions that are equating that, giving you those false equivalencies, any perceptions, any religious text, spiritual text, new age text, psychological text, not Gnostic text, occultist text, what is it, carvings on the wall in some cave, anything that's out here projecting onto you a reality in which the Most High can have any of these false, low vibration, judgmental, horrific, condemning, unloving, specializing, again, no such thing as chosen races, chosen peoples, chosen religions, chosen anything. It's no, that is not from God. That is lower within this space, this whole mindset where everybody's collective consciousness is kind of rolling around and no one's seeing clearly except through their own pain and egos and things like that. So your job down here, if you want to get into this mastery space, is to understand that you are given a choice down here. Everybody's given choices down here, but you're only ever choosing love or fear. Love is the path of the Most High, and fear is the apparent opposite. Because remember, viewing from the highest perspective, fear doesn't exist. It only exists in this false environment because we think we're seeing things. If you're not seeing everything, you're just thinking you're seeing things. And you can't confirm it because you're not seeing everything. Right? And so obviously people in power, people with the squeakiest wheels, and we've made laws down here, rules down here where we say this person looks a certain way, they make this amount of money, this, that, blah, blah, blah. These are king, this is that. And so we think that their way is the right way. Their way has nothing to do with anything that is given unto you. And anything that's given unto you from the Most High is the same that's given unto everybody, because everybody is one. We're just viewing the one as many. So if you're out here praising and elevating a fragmented identity and all sorts of stuff for yourself or other people, all you're doing is playing around in false perception, and you're trying to make rules and more rules and more rules and more ideas and more art and more this and more that and whatever it is that we're generating down here out of false principles. So if you really want to create, because creation belongs to the creator, and you have it within you to create because you are a creation of the creator. But because you're able to choose down here, free will, because you're able to choose, and free will exists in different capacities at different levels of the field that you are in, right? At this level of the field, you're going to create in a way that's different from your soul level, from your monadic level, from your, right? So down here in the physical space where you're human being this time around, your ability to create is not actually creating at all. And your body doesn't create at all. It doesn't. It can't. The body's just a tool. It's like sand. It'll fall away when your mind stops believing it is still alive here, then, right? So creation is at the mindset level. And so if you want to create, you must align with creationary energies. So that's love. And the reason why is because that's real. Love is the only thing that is real. Now, when we say real, as I've said many times on this channel, it means that it's a frequency that exists in this vibration, and every single vibration on every single level of the field. Love is a frequency that goes all the way up to the divine creator. The creator can recognize it because that is all there is. It's a creation. Love is the fabric. So therefore you can say it's the fabric of all that is. Love is everything. This is love. That is love, right? But down here, most times we're not creating with love. In other words, we're not aligning with loving principles. I am love, I'm worthy, I'm, creative, people love me. People aren't on that level. We're doing our best, but as a collective, humanity is still trying to work through the heart chakra, the space where we can pump love. People are still too in that base and sacral chakra space. They're falling apart with devices, with devices, yeah, but the vices, right? With lust, with greed, with pride. You know all of them. With the gluttony, you know all of this. So how could we be in that energy? Oh, and the guides are throwing out the V word. Wait, I don't know what V word you're thinking, but they're thinking victimhood. This is let's just turn the dial. You cannot be in love state and love frequency. It's just a frequency. And for those of you who are like, frequencies, what does that even mean? Think about it this way. The seediest underbelly bar where not even the food is good, but dear God, it's just gross, versus the highest vibration family picnic at the really awesome community park where all of the families in the neighborhood actually like each other. They come together. There are places that like that. Some of us aren't experiencing that where we at, right? But you see, it's two different vibrations. The vibration is different. One is lighter and one is crumpled up. See how like it's seedy, it's closeted, it's quiet, it's in the dark. That's that low vibration. That's all the fear, all the illusions, all the stuff. And unfortunately, in today's world, it's so normalized that it's just part of our structure. It's part of status quo. It makes sense. And anyone who tries to do anything different because they're following their inner soul, their spark, all of this, you know what they say, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. But we need those people to hold the light. First, you must find the light within you. And when you find that light within you, you will notice that it is a light that is in vibration with love. And your job down here is, out of all the things you think you're seeing, and we have dictionaries full of words and pictures and everything to describe everything that's in existence here. All of that boils down to just two things. It's either in your world it has manifested before you as upon the frequency of love and light and truth, and which can be observed as having substance because it exists on every level of every dimension, every density in creation, or it is fear, which is just everything else, right? Now you will continue to, first of all, most of us can't see these two. We can't just see that one guy and be like, oh, okay, he's doing all this and that, but I see what he's about, or I see what he's about, right? Because we have to fix our lens. In fact, we can't even boil down to two sometimes. We're seeing many. Oh, but this and that. No. Which one is it? You can't distinguish because you can't discern that yet. So we must move to discernment so that we can understand the difference between what has value and what does not have value. In other words, what has substance and what does not have substance. And I will tell you this, we value anything on this planet that leads us into that is energetically in alignment with source. And if you think that just by aligning with a religion, is what the guides are saying, is going to, that's just false. It's not. It doesn't matter what your spirituality is, what book you read, what religion, what artwork, what person you gravitate toward, what house you have. It doesn't matter. Those have absolutely nothing to do with value, because those are forms, people, places, things, situations, ideas. These are manifestations of one of these two frequencies. And this is why you can find a church, let's just use a church, with for reals connection, and you will find a church, even a mega church, even a church that is supposedly heading all the churches in the world, but anyway, that's completely the opposite. And I would argue that chances are you can't find a whole church or whole whatever, synagogue, temple, whatever you want to call it, or even whatever, right? That is going to be all this frequency. You may just find one person in there. You may be wandering the walkways and find one book in there, and it's a picture book about something, and you see one word, and it just gives you this feeling of joy and love. It could be a window, and right? So we need to start detaching from what we think represents love, and start to instead turn inward, because we just all we do is we live in a world of symbols. So we must learn to turn inward and observe what's coming up for us. As long as you keep living in your outside world as reality, and you don't even pay attention to your inner world, you're going to struggle, because you're playing in the world of symbols and representations, and you can't read the frequency underneath it. And you will just break your heart over and over and over again, get into karma over and over and again, waste your lifetimes over and over again, and come back over and over again. Instead, you pause, you touch your heart, you understand that you don't have to know everything, you don't have to be everything, but you do want to be loved. And you start to allow yourself to feel. If you're angry, allow it. If you're feeling devious, allow it. See it. Recognize it. Don't push it away. And put a pause on the things coming in, all the people coming in, the ideas coming in, the news, the devices, even the Janelles. If I'm not vibing with you, if I'm not taking you into the path of yourself, which is pure love, then you got to put me on pause. That's just how it has to be, right? You have to start looking at yourself and allowing yourself to come up and loving yourself. And that is how you start to tap into the frequency that counts, which is the one that's in you. We call that the God within. Some people call it the spark of the divine. Some people call it the little light of mine, right? Whatever it is source within you. You're not your body. You're not anything except the spirit that is within you. And on this planet, as you have this beautiful mind, conscious mind, it can be either your gateway to heaven or your gateway to hell, to be quite frank. It's really up to you, and it really all depends on what you choose to align with. If you choose to identify with all these labels and ideas, and I'm a girl, so I must this, and all that stuff, or getting involved in agendas today that are just taking us, it's like agendas that seem important are like, how did we come up, how do we even have this conversation? Something that wasn't even on my radar is now this big rule in my mind that I can't even love my brothers and sisters, because now this thing has come between us, this concept, and I have to find out how you feel about this, because I have, right? All of this is BS. And I will say, using my iPhone, I will say, like, call a spade a spade. I will tell you the greatest example of making something that is not necessary to even think about, and because God didn't create it, so what we doing out here but wasting our time and getting other people rich. A great example, as an analogy, is the iPhone. What was never a necessity to begin with was never a necessity. We used to have payphones and maybe a pager. Remember that? Remember that? But now here we have a society where we think a mobile phone is not even a commodity anymore. It used to be a commodity, but now it is a necessity, to the point that now you have fears about it. Well, I can't even leave home without my smartphone. What if something happens to me? This and that. It's BS. And of course, we're going to see the pendulum swing, and a lot of people, they're like, let's go back to retro. Let's get retro phones. And like, no one wants smartphones anymore. It's just going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so now you realize, why am I wasting my time with society going back, forth, blah, 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 all this, when I need to just be focusing on myself, because I'm just getting other people richer by taking on agendas and ideas and labels and concepts and all sorts of stuff that are not even real. Number one, they have no substance. My angel won't even look at that, because as far as it's concerned, it doesn't exist, right? But I'm out here losing sleep over it. when spirit and my angels are like, hey, you need to just tap into your heart, get into that solar plexus. Remember, you can actually manifest these things you keep trying to go outside and ask for. Now you're sleeping less because you think that your abundance, whatever, came from that one thing, and we're trying to show you it doesn't. So like, what are we doing? They can't help you because you're holding too much to this false identity and these false rules. Spirit is like, we've got you out here, we want to help you. And when you go back home to the other side, that's what you will see. You'll be like, oh, so we were able to manifest stuff. Oh, so we were kind of, so it was consciousness all the time. Oh, so there was no, so time wasn't linear. Oh, okay. So all that stuff was just, okay, right? But you can wait and play the society game if you like, or you can get moving. And you get moving by what? Turning to yourself. This is not service to self. This is about, hey, remember me? Reclaiming the heart space, understanding you don't know everything. And guess what? Neither do all these other people. I don't care what you've got in terms of medals and PhDs and plaques and whatever clergy stuff you're wearing, all that, it doesn't matter. Let me see the heart space. Let me see the frequency. Let me discern that. Let me see what you do with your two hands, not with your memos and your little cell phones that you can say all these things with behind 10 couches because no one will ever find you, right? Not all that. Let's see where the heart is. And for all of you guys, the reason why they're bringing this up this week big time is because, as you know, today's 11/11, God bless. We're on a portal day. It's choice time. Start asking, where am I really trying to go here? Am I trying to stay plugged into lower frequencies and live nightmares because my mind is just going to keep signaling to you, to the universe, to create more of what I'm reacting to? Or am I going to instead, I understand my mind tells the universe what to create for me to experience. And I'm going to instead tune into my heart, tap into that love, grow it within myself, and really allow spirit to move me forward and see what I can do. That's how you end up in the elevator with somebody living two different realities, same physical plane, but different experiences altogether. Now, of course, we have karma and stuff that we have signed up for ourselves to experience, and there are other things that are at play. But I'm telling you, there's a lot more that you could be doing as an agent of your own reality, as a good steward of your own reality. And it starts by looking inward. Okay. So that is your note for this week, guys. This week is to remember yourself and understand that your self concept, where you put your belief system and your attention, is going to be one of two places. And when you remain consistent in that, then you will experience the effects, materialization of those beliefs around you, because the universe must give you what it is that you're beating the vibrational drum about. The problem is, most people don't know what drum they're beating at all. And so they think they're victims most of the time. And, sometimes, yeah, but actually, okay. So I'm going to leave it there. If you'd like to work more closely with me, get any sessions with me, you know exactly where to find me on my Etsy page. And just as a reminder, that is the only place I conduct business, on my Etsy page. You can check the link here. Okay. God bless you. Mwah!